What's up, Rube? It's Little Big Robots. Wanted to film this video before this kind of video I want to film to get it over with so that I can get something like this monstrosity put back on the shelf. And this is, before I start, if you like, small versions of big things, robots, dolls, stuff like that, little detailed, cool little detailed things, mostly robots, toys, stuff like that. Subscribe. I want to get to 4,000 at some point, I guess. Anyway, this is the 1/60th scale Mazinger Z Infinity. It's made by Bandai, so you know it's going to have a really, really nice quality to it. It's going to be easy to assemble. Has English directions. It came with the cat, which I thought was interesting. We decided to keep him. He popped out of the package. It was large enough. I opened the box. I did an unboxing of it a couple videos ago. If you want to go back and look at that, just a quick unboxing. But this is 1.5 feet tall. Sorry, I don't know that in metric. I need to learn my metric because metric is better. Here's some of the stuff left over. You get some really interesting bits here. Most of these are just most of this stuff on the runners are just poly caps, and nothing real important. Don't bite that, please, kitty. Then you get an extra hand or two. You get a fist hand. You get a pointy kind of hand, like a wavy hand. Hello, like I don't know. He's in the middle of a fight. Oh, for when he has the blades on, you get an extra fist. Gives you an idea of how detailed it is. It's pretty darn detailed, as you can see. Really, really nice. Then you get these interesting parts here. I'll show you. I'm not going to take off the arms because I don't want to mess with it, but you bend the elbow and you insert these into the where the elbow goes. These little caps here, and he can have his rocket punch. Whoa, okay. He can have his rocket punch and he bends his elbow out. I'll show you in a second. And it's like a secret weapon. Did you bring that with you, little jerk? No. He's in a real chewing phase right now. He loves chewing on everything. So this is the monstrosity. I was in a local toy shop here in Austin, and they had it. It was it's cheaper than what you'd pay online for sure. But it was still not cheap, but you're paying for just a mass of plastic. It reminds me a lot of the 1/100 scales, or the no scale Bandai kits for Gunpla, where you have basically, maybe kits suits that weren't really that popular, and they needed a kit, and so they build them in these kind of large, pretty inexpensive types. I don't have one on me, but I've reviewed them before. Like the gun cannon kind back in the day. They have, I don't know, it's hard to explain. The Hama was a kind of similar type, where it's just this giant certain, kit that you could get for pretty inexpensive. You just got tons of plastic with it. So what this is basically a similar kind of thing, but for Mazinger. When you see it in videos and stuff, it appears to have a lot more detail than it does as far as functional detail, but it does have a crap ton of detail otherwise. So you have, of course, the ship that comes out, the little one person two-seater. You can actually see the two seats in there. I don't know why they didn't include a little pilot. It's 1/60th scale, so this is the scale of Rihio. If you do Rihio, it's quite small, but I think you could have fit a pilot figure, at least a standing one. See the two seats. So if you're familiar with the animation and all, cool. A lot of you out there who are my age, I am in my 40s, probably grew up on a similar design for Shogun Warriors. I don't know the connection there. I've never looked it up. I think I have before, but it's been a while. But Mazinger is essentially that, something like that. And this model kit is based off of the Mazinger Z anime, which is free on YouTube, and I linked that before. I'll link it again. So I built this really quick. So you're going to see some nub marks. I have so many kits, you can see back here, and so many toys to review and build and stuff like that. I just snap them and build them real quick. I don't try to do anything fancy. If I'm going to weather this or paint it better later, I'll take care of those nub marks. So you're going to have, you know, quite a few opportunities for panel line or for a seam lining and nub marks to cover it. But overall, if you look at the detail, what's really cool is they make it look with these really deep channels in the pieces. They make it look like these are all interlocking pieces. Now this, for example, the shin guard is one piece here. This all comes off, but this is all one big hollow piece. The reason you want that's good is because when you have such a gargantuan model, you want it to be able to stand up and hold its own weight. If it was really, really detailed inner frame and all that stuff like that, you really get to the point where it starts to have problems standing on its own. It's going to fall over, it's going to break, stuff like that. So this is a really good solution. This jetpack thing is really, really cool. You simply take off the belt buckle, I guess you would call it. It opens up like this, and it simply pops out like this. Oops, actually it's not supposed to do that. I guess it could do that. It's supposed to pop out here. Let me see if I can, let me take the jet off. I'm kind of hovering over this thing, so it's a little bit hard because it's huge. This pops out of the back, if I can get it to work. Wow, it is really in there well, good. I tell you what, it wasn't that hard to get in there. But there's essentially a channel that goes into. Wow, that is really in there. I wonder why that's in there so nice and tightly. But there's a gap in there, and if you take that off, there's a plug that you can see just the lip of the plug there that covers up that section. Why is it so hard to get out? That's insane. I'm not going to mess with it on a camera. It could rip or tear or something like that. So you just basically put it back together. You put the little belt buckle here on. Was that right or was this right? Let's see. It was this way, actually. There you go. And it looks like a cool little belt buckle thing. I think it's pretty darn neat. The jetpack thing, or I forget what this flyer thing is called, is really, really cool. It has this interesting way to fold up. And then what you do is the wings fold down and fold up. You just get past that yellow fin. This one will fold down and fold up and just get past itself. And then it folds up like that and is kind of stored away. So that's kind of an interesting thing. I actually kind of prefer him without the jetpack. I mean, it's interesting for sure. It's a neat thing, but it's so unwieldy. It's so big. What's really interesting is there's some engineering in the shoulders here to get it to where it doesn't clack into place like a proper toy, quote unquote, but it has a nice way to kind of hold the position there. The arms are a bit loose because they're meant to come off, and that's where you're going to place the optional little part you're gonna fold the arms up like this, and the extra little bit there is gonna show to do the, instead of putting it together because it can kind of be a hassle, I'll just show you real quick. His little elbow guns, which are really fun. In the cartoon, the anime, if you watch it on YouTube, so you basically place that part and stick that up. I can do it real quick. It probably won't be that bad. Let's see. And it'll look like his little elbow, his little wrist guns are firing, which is really, I think, pretty cute. In the anime, it's really funny because you know how it is in Mazinger, everything he does, he'll yell. He'll be like, so-and-so fight, shooty thing or whatever, and he'll yell the ability or whatever it is. And let's see if I can get that on there. How do you do it? It goes up. Okay, so that part should go in first. So let's put this in here. Got to bend, there we go. Bend it down a little bit. So he essentially has a gun barrel there, as you can see, and then this should pop on top. Thing is, it's a little bit in the way, but there you go. So he can go, surprise elbow gun or whatever. I think it's a bit goofy. You can also, it has a rocket punch thing. You can pull it off, and I think you have a part that can go in the rocket punch. I can't remember. But I'm just going to leave it assembled. I've noticed, though, that because this is meant to come off, you do have to keep these on here relatively pressed in there pretty tightly because they don't just spontaneously fall off, but they definitely aren't as tight of a joints as if they were meant to stay together. You've got this really, really excellent red thing here. I want to show you in the back here. This is kind of cool. I have got to get this off, though, to get that part out. Let me see if I can do it. I don't know why that's so hard to get off. It's kind of bothering me a bit. It went in very easily. It's just a slot. Like, it's acting like it's stuck. Oh my God, I don't know what. That's crazy. Anyway, the slot here, this part here, you take off this slab here, and inside is a retractable little battery pack, and you have, see the arm can fall off you, and you have a nice little LED that came with it. See, everything is very tight. It's the tolerances here are not. That is insane. I can't get that off. Anyway, trust me on it. The reason I'm not worried about showing you is because the LED is not bright at all. And as a matter of fact, in this light, it would probably just barely show in the little spikes on the side. But you can replace that. It's a standard size LED. So you'll be able to replace that for a much brighter one. Like I said, these parts, you can see how short the nub is there. It's not real long, so you really do need to get it in there. But it has some nice little details when it folds up, whenever the hand, let's see if I can get a better shot here. Whenever the hand and the arm folds up, you've got this nice movement here. You can see that, the little crux of the elbow kind of moves. So it's got some neat little effects like that. You just, like I said, you have to be careful because if you move it, those arms can fall off if they're loose at all. The head has some nice, options for posability and stuff like that. The legs go pretty crazy, but not too far. As you can see, the skirts are a bit in the way, but they can fold out of the way pretty easily, and you can do some crazy standard stuff. The feet don't have, which is a bit disappointing, they don't have much posability as far as movement. This toe is rigid and stuff, but you can definitely get in a cool position. And if you had to, you could use a pretty large stand, or even a regular kind of size a large gunpla stand to help kind of hold it into place. But it's essentially just a kind of a really cool shelf piece, like a centerpiece. This is begging for some, if not panel lining, just a nice grease job on it. Maybe the gray here could be painted this gunmetal and greased up. And then just a nice dry brush of silver on all the black and the purple to give it a nice weathered aspect, but nothing crazy. I wouldn't go nutty with it. For now, I'm going to leave it, of course, because I have a billion projects, but he can definitely do some neat stuff. He didn't come with a sword or anything cool because I don't believe Z in the anime uses one, but you can see how light he is. He's very, very light, but even with that, there's not any movement there really. There's a little bit there, but this also can kind of clack into place. You can see there how it kind of has it's not just tension. It's also got some ridges in there to help hold its position. So once you get into position, you can set it there. It's really going to stand pretty well. These giant back feet are kind of funny, but at the same time, I like that because it's kind of realistic and the way that it would need some giant feet just to stand around. They don't have a ton of posability or movability, but really interesting. So you can see how these all look like separate armor pieces. This actually is. This shin piece is a separate armor piece, but all this is one. So it's an illusion. It makes, when you look at it, you're like, oh wow, that is so detailed. But when you look at it, it's just one big giant piece of plastic. I like that because it's hollow. It makes the kit more inexpensive than it could be at this size. And it's also not going to weigh so much. So if it falls, you're not potentially breaking all this inner frame and stuff. You're just maybe breaking a tab or two, and you could glue that back. So I love it. I think it's fantastic. I'm happy I got it. You could really get this done during the time it took you to maybe watch a couple movies, honestly. So not bad at all, I would say. But anyway, I thought you'd want to take a look at this giant Mazinger I got. I love it. It's going to take up a lot of room, but it is more vertical room, so it's not as bad as something like a vehicle, like a tank with a big footprint. So if you get this, you could even put it in a cool sitting position or something, because as you see, I don't do as much display anymore because I make videos, and that's kind of my display in a way to the world, making these videos. But I like to display my current stuff, and something like this on that shelf, I'd have to either have him bending down or sitting, or maybe in just a cool flying position, which sounds like a cool idea. You could fly him kind of low off the ground but have them flying still and just use some gunpla stands to hold them up. That would probably work because it's not heavy at all. It's not heavy, but you get tons of plastic. It's a fun kit. Is it worth the cost? I'd say if you get it on a decent price like I did, go for it. If it's not and it's into the $300 range, I wouldn't do all that. But you can see it's a little bit. It's about half a foot, I think, smaller than the Marvel Legends Sentinel. So that gives you an idea, but it's 1.5 feet tall. Really, really cool. I love it. Anyway, thought you guys might want to take a look. Have a good one. Bye-bye.